longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death. I'll set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still long away off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against the heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and it is found.' So they began to celebrate." Everybody knows about this story of two sons, and the younger son insisting on taking his share of property and spending waywardly everything he inherited. Now, please note the extent of being lost is not now outside house. It is not inside house. But now it's your own. Your own could be your children, your brother, your siblings. It could be your parents. Because you have taken a path in Christianity, you can lose them. There are so many ways wherein your closed ones you can get lost. So the subject is getting more and more now, with more and more higher stakes and with more importance. So the importance of subject we lost getting higher, but in the parable the lost son comes to the father, and what the father does in the parable? He goes, hugs him, and effectively forgives him and rejoices his return. But the story doesn't end there. There is a twist in the tale. So I am going to read about other character in this parable, and that is about the elder brother, elder son for the father. So I'm going to read verse 25 to 30. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him, "What was going on?" "Your brother has come," he replied, "and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has back safe and sound." The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, "Look, all these years I have been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, come home, you kill the fattened calf for him." Now, this elder brother feels he has ticked all the boxes. He was very obedient, he was hardworking, he was meritorious, and he also led a life which was morally high. So, it would have seemed for him as being victimized. He would have felt he has been given unfair treatment. But it would have seemed very irrational that all I did, all this thing, it counts to nothing. And so what did he do? He didn't go, he didn't want to participate in the celebration. Now the question arises, who is lost? The younger one who went, he came back. Now who is getting lost here? Is the elder brother. We feel The elder one is lost now, not sure why he is getting unfair treatment despite he doing all he believed to please his father. When Jesus narrated this parable, he chose to use very relatable characters. My sons, Adit and Avi, every second moment one person will come and say, Acha means daddy in our language. Acha, this is not fair. He will say, Adit gets to use the white toothpaste and I am still using that green toothpaste. The next moment the elder will come, I cannot do so much of homework. Why he doesn't have to do that much? Every time they keep on coming. They don't understand that since the little one, his inner mouth linings are not strong enough, I cannot give a stronger toothpaste. He won't understand that. But it keeps coming every time, this is unfair, this is so unfair, this is so unfair, and that's the theme. But my friends, this feeling is not limited to children or childhood. In our parts of the world, the major number one causes of fights, rivalry, splits in siblings and family is inherited property disputes. Then I was checking in UK. In UK there was a statistics that in 2013 a report published by a private bank, Coutts, which surveyed 270 millionaires, found that 37% of families have been involved in serious conflict and over inheritance matter. I didn't get the fair share. I didn't get what I deserve. But coming back to the parable, the younger son who had a wayward life was lost and returned. But then it was elder who tried his best, now feels lost and dejected. Outside this church, there are many people who live a wayward life. They are lost. They can be related like the younger son. But friends, inside this church, what type of lost are we referring to? How we can relate to? I feel we related to the elder son. So the lost would be you. Would be you. So if you see, the subject of lost was not outside earlier, and inside, then it could be your own, but now it could be you. In the church, there are at times we do all the things right we feel, and still doesn't get the favor. We feel, or at times we feel some resentment lurking towards our Father. The youth of the church could feel lost in turbulence. The young couples could feel lost in direction. The sick in the church feel lost out. Those in financial turmoil could feel lost and not cared for. So, the potential for lost can be us. But the good part is that the parable is not over yet. In Hindi, they call it picture abhi baki hai mere dost. So how does the father respond? Let me give how the father has responded. Let me read out the last 2 verses of the chapter. My son, the father said, you are always with me and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. I just wanted to highlight this portion. Always with me and everything I have is yours. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.